So, in today's class we shall see what are projects and operations, project management skills. We shall see what are the triple constraints of a project, and then we shall see what is a project, program and a portfolio. So, yesterday we saw what is a project. Okay, you can see it on the right hand side. Projects are temporary, that means it has got a definite start and a definite end. Projects will produce a unique output, and projects would be terminated once the objective is met, and project may involve single persons or many persons. We have seen this. Basically, you have a project team which consists of a single person or many people, and the project would range from few weeks to several years. So, these are some of the points which we saw in projects. Now, what do you mean by operational work? Now, that is very important. What is the meaning of operational work? The outcome of a project generally lands up in an operation. Now, this is something which you need to understand. So, let us say that you have decided to do a project on setting up a call center. So, you did a project of setting up a call center. Okay. Now, once you have set up the call center, after the project is complete, the next thing would be only to maintain it. So, what is the meaning of maintenance? Basically, maintenance means it is an ongoing operation. So, operations will actually happen once the project is complete. It is repetitive. Maintenance is always repetitive. So, what is the meaning of repetitive? It goes on and on. It is used to sustain the business, which is very important. Business sustainability is important in operational work, and it will adopt a new set of objectives and work continues. Let us say that you have a project to build a hospital. So, once the hospital is constructed, once the staff is recruited and everything comes in, the next thing would be to only maintain the hospital. So, that is called as an operation. So, projects are temporary, whereas operations are always ongoing. So, that is the difference between a project management and a operations management. So, that is why you have the concept of a project manager and an operation manager. So, once the project is completed, the project manager will get disbanded, whereas operations manager continues, because it is an ongoing process. Now, let us say that you are building an aircraft. So, to build an aircraft is a project. You cannot build aircraft in one day. It will take 1 year or 2 years or 10 years to build an aircraft. After building the aircraft, you have to fly the plane. So, for flying the plane, you have maintenance work day in and day out. That is called as operations. So, operations are ongoing, operations are repetitive. So, what you should understand here is the difference between project and operational work is projects are temporary, whereas operational work is ongoing. That is all. So, the organization will do operational work because they have to sustain in a business. So, that is the basic difference between a project and the operations. Now, in order to do project, you need project management. I told you in the last class. What is a project management? So, it is the application of skills, very important. It is application of skills, tools and techniques to project activities to meet project requirements. Every project will have requirements. We call them as project requirements. Project requirements means the scope of a project. What is that you are going to achieve at the end of the project is called as the project scope. So, to achieve that project scope, you require skills, you require tools and techniques. To manage that project, you require project management, which is nothing but the application of knowledge. And who is responsible for this? Project manager is responsible for accomplishing the project objectives. He is responsible. The complete responsibility of the project lies with the project manager. So this is the meaning of project management. Now, what is the first thing you do in a project? First is you are identifying the requirements. See, you have to identify the requirements. So a customer will come and he will start giving the requirements to you. Now he is a customer, he will start giving the requirements to you. So you have to pay a lot of attention in understanding the requirements. See, most of the time projects fail because we don't understand the requirements properly. So you have to pay a lot of attention in understanding the requirements and establishing clear and achievable objectives. So what are objectives? Objectives are nothing but goals, project goals. What is that you are supposed to achieve at the end of the project? Now those objectives has to be very clear and it has to be achievable. You cannot set an objective which is not achievable. If you think that the objective is not achievable, then don't set it at all. Then you have to manage three things which are very important. One is called quality, scope, time and cost. Four things actually, whereas scope, time and cost we call them as iron triangle, and quality is actually based upon that. We shall talk about this later. So that means you have to watch for these things. You have to watch for quality, means your project should have quality. Your project should have a definite scope. That means you should know what is that you are going to achieve, what are the deliverables of the project. A project will have a definite start time and a definite end time. So it has got a time constraint, and a project will also have a cost constraint. So these are some of the constraints which are there, which in order to achieve a project successfully. So these things you need to understand. And adapting to specification, plans and approach to different concerns and expectations of the various stakeholders. See, every project will have stakeholders. You know who are stakeholders. Stakeholders are the people who are affected by the project. We will talk about that stakeholders later. Actually, there are positive and negative stakeholders of your project. Positive stakeholders are those who will give a green signal to your project. Negative stakeholders are those who may not give a green signal to your project. So that means whenever you have stakeholders, you have to manage their expectations. Whether you have to give high priority to them, low priority to them, or medium priority to them. So that is also one of the important assignments or tasks of a project manager. So managing a project team involves all these things. You have to adopt to specification, you have to plan, you have to approach the plan, you have to live up with the expectations of the stakeholder, you have to balance scope, time and cost, you have to establish clear achievable objectives, and more importantly, you have to identify the requirements. Requirements gathering has to be very clear. If you go wrong in identifying the requirements, then the output of the project is not going to be successful. So identifying requirements plays such a crucial role in any project. Okay, that is why today we have a role called business analyst. We call them as BAs. So who is a business analyst? A person who actually liaisons between the project team and the customer. So he takes the requirements from the customer and hands it over to the project team. So it's very important for you to understand the requirements of the customer, because a customer may not give you the requirements properly. Even then you have to ensure that you gather all the requirements. That is why identification of requirements is very important. Now what are the general management knowledge and skills? So you should know what is planning, you should know what is organizing, staffing, executing and controlling operations of an ongoing enterprise. So these are all the basic milestones of any project: planning a project, organizing a project, staffing a project. Then it will also provide foundation for building project management skills. So all these will basically help you to provide the strong foundation for building and project management skills. So these are some of the general management knowledge and skills which are required. So as a project manager, you should have some knowledge about financial management and accounting. You should have some knowledge about purchasing and procurement, because if you are doing a project for building a product, then you may have to purchase few items from other vendors. So you should know purchasing policy, procurement policy. You should have some knowledge about sales and marketing. You should have some knowledge about contracts and commercial law. You should have some knowledge about logistics and supply chain. You should have strategic planning, tactical planning and operational planning. You should know something about health and safety practices, and you should have some knowledge about information technology. So these are some of the general management knowledge and skills which are required by a project manager. It's not that you need to know all these, but it is expected that you know something out of all this. So that is a very important thing to be a project manager. Now when you talk of interpersonal skills, so you should have effective communication. See, as a project manager, you should be able to communicate properly, because under your project there are so many team members. So you have to communicate properly and you have to influence the organization, which is very important. Suppose if you want to get anything from the organization, you should be able to influence them, because organization is the one who will give you resources for your project. So suppose if you want a resource at any given point of time, you should be able to influence the organization and prove that the resource is important for your project. You should have leadership skills, because you have to lead the project from the front. You should have motivation, because sometimes the projects may get slipped off, the deadlines may get slipped off, or there will be a problem which has come in the project. So you need to motivate your team members. You need to have negotiation and conflict management skills. So you should know how to negotiate with conflicting teams. Suppose if there are two teams which are in the process of a conflict, so you should know how to negotiate them, how to negotiate with them and resolve their issues. And more importantly, you should have problem solving skills. So these are some of the anticipated interpersonal skills which are required for a project manager. You are working on a project. Now there are two teams. One is the design team and one is the implementation team. So design team has come out with one design. Implementation team thinks that this design cannot be implemented, but the design team is confident that it can be implemented. Implementation team says that the design is not perfect. Design team will stick to their design, their words. Implementation team will say we cannot implement this design. Now, unless and until implementation team thinks that the design can be implemented, you cannot proceed with the project. So how will you resolve this problem now? This is called as conflict management. Okay, now going further. So we have a concept called triple constraints, which are very important. What is this triple constraint? Triple constraint stands for project scope, project time and project cost. So we call it as an iron triangle. So we put one triangle. So we will put scope in one side, we will put time in one side, we will put cost in one side, and in the middle we will have quality. So this is called as triple constraint. Now what exactly is this triple constraint? So you, as a project manager, you have to keep balancing this. See, let's say that we will take a simple example. You are a project manager for a construction project. Let us not think about IT now. You are a project manager for a construction project. A customer comes and tells you that build me a house for say around 5 squares. Build me a house for 5 squares. Now for this 5 squares house, you will have a cost, you will have a time, you will have a scope. Scope is to build a house of 5 squares. So within that 5 squares, what will be the scope? Means nothing but objectives. You may have a bedroom, you may have a hall, Okay, you may have a veranda, you may have a living area and all those things. That is called as a scope. For that particular scope, you have told him a cost and you have told him a time. For example, it is going to cost you around say 25 lakhs. Just an example. And you have told him that it is going to take say 5 months. Now suddenly the customer will change his mind. He will say, now don't build 5 squares for me, you build 15 squares. Now he is increasing the scope. That means he is increasing the requirements. So 15 squares means the requirements of the house will change. Maybe for instead of going for a single house, he may go for a duplex. Now at that time, when the scope increases, the cost also will increase, the time also will increase. So that means if scope increases, cost increases and time also increases. So we call this as a triple constraint. And you have to ensure, suppose if the customer says that, reduce the cost for me and still give me 15 squares house and reduce the time. So if you try doing this, probably your quality may suffer. Then you may not put in good quality materials because he is reducing the cost. So you may not put high quality materials. So quality is going to suffer. So as a project manager, you have to ensure the balancing act of time, cost and scope. You should always keep it in mind, what is the scope, what is the time and what is the cost. So we call this as an iron triangle. Okay, we will take this example only. See, I am just showing you this example. So you have quality, so you have time, you have got cost, you have got the scope, time and cost. Now in the project management context, there are 3 things which you need to understand. What is a project, what is a program and what is a portfolio. This is very, very important. You know what a project is. We have already seen what is a project. What is a project? A project is a temporary endeavor. Endeavor is nothing but work. Temporary endeavor which is undertaken to produce unique product, service or a result. You know the definition of the project. Now, but what is a program? So you can see I am giving this program as an umbrella. So what is a program? A program is nothing but collection of projects. Always remember this word. When I say program, it is not that computer program. Computer program is nothing but collection of lines of code. But here in project management terms, what is a program? Program is a collection of projects. And what is a portfolio? Portfolio is a collection of programs. So we shall take one example and see what is a project, what is a program and what is a portfolio. So you can see here, a program is a group of related projects managed in a coordinated way to obtain benefits and control not available from managing them individually. Let me explain this to you. See, let's say that you are having a project called building a metro rail. So this metro rail project has got multiple programs. Sorry, you can call it as a program. Sorry, you can call it as a program instead of calling it as a project. See, to build a metro rail program, the first thing would be, we'll divide this into number of projects. I'll call it as project 1, project 2, like this. I can go on till project N. So what is project 1? Project 1 will be the project to get government clearance. To getting the government clearance itself is one project. It's not easy. So you have to give tender notifications, you have to consult the legal advisors, you have to get environmental clearance, you have to get clearance from various bodies of government. So that is one project. Totally it's one project. The second project may be used to design the metro rail. How should be the metro rail look like? It could be a structural project, like where will be the starting point, where will be the ending point, what and all materials I am going to use. That could be one more project. The third project would be to design a train. The fourth project would be to design the stations. The fifth project would be to design a software for tracking the metro rail. So all these are different projects. Now what I do, I put all these projects together in a program. I call it as a program. So what is this program now? This program called Metro Rail is a collection of many projects. Now you can see here, a program is a group of related projects. They are all related to each other. See, you are having a program called Metro Rail. I cannot put a project here to build to procure medical equipment, which is of a hospital project. It doesn't make sense. So that is why the definition says a program is a group of related projects. They are all related. P1 is related to P2, P2 is related to P3, P3 is related to Pn. They are all coordinating with each other. Why do we do like this? Because when they are all related to each other, managing all of them becomes easier rather than managing individually. Suppose if I keep project 1 as individual project, project 2 as an individual project, managing one project becomes very difficult. Instead of that, if I put them in a program, it becomes much easier. So that is the difference between a program and a project. So what is a program management? Program management is managing projects. That's all. So you can see here, now I have a program here. This program has got project 1, project 2 and project 3. So the person who manages the program is called as a program manager, and the person who manages the project is called as a project manager. So for this project 1, there will be one project manager. For project 2, there will be another project manager. For project 3, there will be another project manager. All these project managers report to a program manager. That means this program manager will basically control all the project managers of different projects. This is one example of program management. So you have got a Toyota Camry model. So now this Toyota Camry model is a program which has got 3 projects under it. Project A, Project B and Project C. Project A is manufacturing hybrid cars. Project B is manufacturing Camry LE cars, and Project C is manufacturing Camry CE cars. So all these are 3 different projects. They all come under the program called Toyota Camry model. So what is a portfolio? A portfolio is nothing but a collection of programs. So let's say that you have, we'll take one company, for example, say Tata's. So you have Tata. See, under Tata, you have various portfolios. Okay, one portfolio is you have Tata Steel. This is one portfolio. Another portfolio is you have Tata Motors. This is another portfolio. Under Tata Motors portfolio, you have a program, okay, called as, for example, there is one new car variant which has come from Tata, which is called as, Altroz. So you have a program called Altroz. So this is manufacturing, designing, implementation and manufacturing of a car, Tata Altroz. So it's a program. This program will have multiple projects: design of Altroz car, okay, testing of Altroz car, then sales and marketing of Altroz car. So these are different projects. So now you understood that this Tata Motors Tata will have motors as one program, steel as one program. Under motors program, you have Altroz as sorry, under Tata you have steel as one portfolio and motors as one more portfolio. Under this portfolio called motors, you have Altros as one program. Under this Altros program, you will have project 1, project 2 and project 3. Similarly, under Tata Steel, you can have multiple programs or one program. Under that multiple programs, you can have multiple projects, project 1, project 2 and project 3. So, what can you understand from this? Different projects combined together will make a program, and different programs combined together will make a portfolio. So, what is portfolio? Portfolio is nothing but a collection of programs which are independent or directly related and managed within a single portfolio or a program. Either they will be independent and related to each other. See, you must have heard, we say ISRO space program, we say, correct? Have you heard of this word, ISRO space program? Why it is called a ISRO space program? Because that ISRO space program will have multiple projects within it. One project would be to design a PSLV rocket. Another project will be to design a satellite. So, there could be two projects under the ISRO space program. One is to design a rocket and another one to design a satellite. And other project would be to design a launching pad. And another project would be to design a telecommunication system. So, that program called space program could involve multiple projects. Sometimes you may even have the concept of sub projects, which are very important. So, what do you mean by sub projects? Project divided into more manageable components are called as sub projects. See, let us say that you have a project. Now, your project is to basically build an accounting system software. I want to build an accounting system. In order to build an accounting system, I should first create a user interface. So, I do not have expertise in creating the user interface. So, what I will do? I will divide this accounting system software project as one project, sub project called user interface. And I will offload this sub project to some other organization. So, what I am telling is, what is the concept of a sub project means? Projects which are divided into more manageable components is called as sub projects. Okay, let me give one more example. See, you are building a TV. Okay, you are building a television. So, building a television is one project. After building the television, you have to market it. You have to do sales and marketing of it. Now, your expertise lies only in building the television. Your expertise does not lie in sales and marketing. So, what you will basically do now is, you will outsource that project of sales and marketing to an external agency. So, that becomes your sub project. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Or you are constructing a house. So, your contractor says that I will only construct the house and give you, but I do not have the expertise of doing solar installation. So, for solar installation, what he will does? He basically outsources that particular solar installation project to somebody else. So, that means it becomes a sub project. So, sub project means project divided into more manageable components. You are contracting to an external enterprise or to another functional unit in an organization. You are contacting another person in order to make that particular project successful, the sub project successful.
Yes, sir.
So, today we saw what is the difference between project management and operations management. Then we saw what are the skills required by the project manager. Then we saw what is the difference between a project, a program and a portfolio. Then we also saw what are sub projects and what are the importance of sub projects.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So in the next class we shall talk about PMO, which is called as a project management office. And once we are done with that, then directly we'll go to the project management life cycle.